I'm Ashli and we're here in Spillers Records. I'm the co-owner and current custodian of Spillers Records, a shop which opened in 1894, a record shop, and we are the oldest record shop in the world. To me, the Welsh music scene is just as vibrant as I remember it. I mean, I kind of came into buying music and being into my own thing, and the Welsh music scene in the kind of, very mid-90s, I guess you'd say, kind of 94, 95, when Super Furry Animals and Catatonia were about and everything was cool Cymru, and then it was kind of Newport is the new Seattle, and obviously there was a lot of hype in the national press and worldwide press. Obviously there's a bit of a backlog that happens then, but I mean, having since my sister and I bought the shop and took over the running of it in 2010, things just seem to be growing more organically, and I think without hype and without the spotlight on it, actually that's when things really start to happen, and they happen under their own steam.
We had Michael Sheen talking about his school and how there's no drama department in it anymore. Schools having to cut back on the arts and music in general. It seems like it's always the first thing to go.
Yeah, it's a really, obviously, it's really terrible when things that are, under the banner of arts and culture are affected by cutbacks. And I won't dismiss that at all about the knock-on effect, but then there is also part of me which also thinks that I don't think we can ever be complacent about this, but a lot of good things can happen from a DIY approach, and a lot of good things do, self-promoting gigs, self-promoting bands, that whole DIY ethic. However, you can't cut things out from further up the food chain, because there isn't anywhere for people and bands and entities and to progress to. In Cardiff, we've had a lot of setbacks, I think, in terms of live music with venues that have disappeared over the last 5 to 10 years, and I really think that someone needs to ask the question of what's more important. We are the land of song, after all, and I think that if you want to trade on that tagline, I think you really need to invest in things that help support something that's really important within Cardiff and Wales, which is creative and musical culture. It's imperative. I think too, a lot of the artists where Welsh is a first or second language, you have someone like Kate Le Bon, who I saw heard being interviewed on Six Music a couple of days ago, and it's not my first language, but I do have a grasp of it, and I never feel alienated by it. And I guess the thing is that if somebody's first language is Welsh, they're obviously going to think and write a lot more fluidly and make a lot more sense musically, doing something instinctively in that language. And in Spillers, we've been lucky enough to come across people from all over the world. Through the Manics and Super Furry Animals popularity, we've come across fans from Japan and from all over the world, but especially the Japanese, who have shopped in Spillers. And obviously the language that a band use, it's just a musical instrument. I don't it's just another part of the sound. So I've never actually myself bracketed Welsh music or non-Welsh music. How often do you listen to English lyrics and know what somebody's saying? Quite often it's not clear. But in terms of promoting the Welsh language, it should be celebrated. It should be used more in Welsh TV programmes, in Welsh on Welsh radio. Anything that is about Wales, from Wales, should really make a really big effort to to use Welsh, Welsh music within that remit, it should be embraced and used and celebrated. Did that answer the question? I'm not sure it did.
I think it did, and several other questions.
Okay.
Yeah, Ashli Todd.
Woo!
Thank you very much.
Boy time! There you go. I dare you to put that in.
No, don't dare me to put that in.